Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, Josh Assange, your host here on the Bodybuilding News Network. Welcome back to another installment of Bodybuilding Daily, where we talk about all things hot topic and trending in bodybuilding and fitness. And we have one more video we're going to pop out real quick before I hit the gym. And we have a variety, ladies and gentlemen, we have a variety of physique updates from some other competitors besides our top two, right? Our projected top two coming into the Flex Weekend Italy Pro, the 2023. Now, let's go ahead and start off with Andrea Muzi, aka Andrea Muzilla, over on Instagram, sharing some physique updates courtesy of Sulosi. I never get his name right. Cool dude. Him, Dan, Bodybuilders Without Borders, Fernando Arroyo, Buys and Tries, Muscle Discord. Like, there's a bunch of these channels that do a lot of reposting of physique updates, so we do appreciate them doing that. Heck, I even do it sometimes, so we're all in it together. Sharing some physique updates. Andrea Muzi, one day out from getting on stage for prejudging tomorrow morning. It's going to be early, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be I think bikini when they get on, it's going to be like 1 a.m. my time, so I might just cook up some coffee or take a small nap, wake up at like 2 a.m. and start coverage for prejudging. So we'll see. I think that's probably what's going to end up happening. But Andrea sharing some physique updates here. He looks conditioned enough to do some damage in this lineup. I do have him in my top 8 prediction. Make sure you watch that video. Complete lineup, all the competitors, the ones that were unable to make it so far. We only had one dropout, and at the end, my top 8 prediction. Make sure you watch that. Should be in the recommended. And when you look at Andrea Muzi, like I said, I think he did bring the conditioning that he needs to place well here, but I do wish he would post some back shots. That seems to be, for me, and for a lot of the other bodybuilding commentators out there on YouTube and even at shows, when you look at a physique and they're not showing back shots or they're not showing front double, Ian, he just retired, so he's a trendy right now. Ian didn't usually post a lot of front double bicep shots because it wasn't one of his better shots. And that's just what it was. So the reason he was doing that was because his front double wasn't a good shot for him. And when you look at on Andrea Muzi, not sharing back shots, but always sharing this front lat, you got to think, okay, the front lat is his best shot. So then back shots are his worst. And that's not always great for at least, journalists like myself or commentators, whatever you want to call us. We want to see all the shots. So that's my worry here. He might be a little lacking in the back. Someone that is not hiding anything from these back shots is Jan Turek, sharing some physique updates. Again, one day out. And this guy placed second at the Prague 2 years ago. So he's one of these guys, he could be in the conversation. I think he just slipped my top 8 prediction. I think I have him in 9th. It's just such a heavy lineup. But he looks absolutely diced, very conditioned. He could do some damage here. He could move up. If anyone, ladies and gentlemen, you got to remember, European shows are conditioning shows. So if you show up out of shape, if you show up soft, if you show up like Blessing did for Chicago, you're going to get hurt. People are going to knock you out, and you're going to end up outside the first, maybe even in a lineup like this, maybe even outside the second call out. So you got to be careful with these guys. But Jan Turek, physique updates, one day out. Now, I had to do a little digging. I found it actually on Andrea Presti's story, is some physique updates of Andrea Mulzani, who it looks like they do some coaching together. As you can see, he's in all the photos. Not showing legs and not showing back shots. So again, it makes you wonder, like, why aren't you showing everything? Why aren't you showing the complete canvas? Maybe the legs aren't as conditioned as the upper body. Maybe he just got done doing some upper body work and he looks super diced and conditioned. I'd say this front double looks phenomenal. And I would say that the side chest looks phenomenal. The other shots are okay, but I don't want to say a slub, but like, I'm a huge fan of the side chest when you really open it up like he did, like we talked about in the last video, right? The one guy wasn't opening up that chest enough, and it kind of made him look a little shallow. Want to open that up, really push those clavicles out, make yourself look as wide as possible. And I think for Andrea Mulzani, I think he's doing a good job with these physique update photos. One day out, again, Andrea Mulzani. Next up, we have, I do believe, we have Thomas Tabassiar coming into this show. Photos one day out. So everyone's being pretty nice about this. Everyone's getting sweet physique updates out and showing off what kind of conditioning they're bringing. Again, it's going to be a conditioning show, ladies and gentlemen. And this is kind of something I want to talk about just real quick, and then we'll continue on with the other physique updates. But when you look at Thomas Tabassiar, when you look at the gym shot with the perfect lighting, it added a lot of density and a lot of thickness to his physique that when you get to the outside, and I mean, these photos are really cooked, the ones outside, there's a lot of filters on that. But the sun with the extra filtering, he lost a lot of depth with the posing. And when I'm thinking about stage lights, depending on what Italy's going to do this year, sometimes like the Yamamoto shows are a little darker, so it might complement more of a gym shot like that. But these are really small, intricate nuances, small details that some of these shows can have. So I'm wondering how well he's going to look on stage versus how well he's looking on Instagram. I guess it also relates to the Regan Grimes comments on the last video. Check that one out as well. Next up, we have AJ Kelly Roberts, AJ's World of Bodybuilding, something like that on Instagram. Apologies, AJ. It used to be called that. Oh, maybe changed his name. But he does the female bodybuilding channel, and he does another show on Fuad's channel as well, getting some exclusive physique updates from Theo Leguerrier from France. One day out from the Italy Pro, and Theo's looking good. He's looking conditioned. He doesn't look as conditioned as some of the other guys we just looked at, but the proportions might be a little different. Theo is an Olympian. He's won shows before, so I would like to think that he has a little bit of a leg up on some of the other competition. He's also got a good amount of density that maybe doesn't translate through photos and video as well as it does on stage. So I think Theo could be one of these wild picks for moving up. He is in my top 8, but he could move all the way to 5th, or he could knock off a 4th place finish if they're just a little bit off. Someone I do believe I have in my top 4, maybe even top 3, is Mr. Shoming Yang. And this guy, I was trying to find some photos not from the photo shoot, but it's just not happening. He's done a good job of keeping photos from leaking. He looks great. I'm just wondering about, when you look at those proportions, he's 5'5", and he weighed in 240 pounds on the scale for the check-ins today. One day out. I'm wondering if he's just too compact, that his physique just doesn't flow well. And from the back, I'd say it's not very aesthetic for me. I don't like that look. There's not a lot of separation from the trap. The traps are just taking up too much of the shot. So there's also a lot of skin folding in the lower back. He's going to need to clean that up with conditioning. Of course, these photos were 2 or 3 weeks old, so he's going to be tighter. He's going to be sharper. I don't know how much more tight. You can look at the predictions video. I used his Romania photos, and that was right when he turned pro. The day after, he turned pro at the amateur Romania and competed at the pro Romania. That'll give you a better idea of what he's going to look like, or what he could look like when he's stage ready. And last but certainly not least, Blessing Awodibu sharing some photos. I believe this was 3-ish days out from the Italy Pro, the Flex Weekend Italy Pro. Looking very good, very conditioned. The legs, we've talked about it, they're just not up to par from the back. Very shallow, no separation. They look like hot dogs. From the side, amazing legs. Everything's amazing. And from the front, everything's amazing. And from the back, the upper back is insanely good. So I don't know what he would need to do to completely transform those legs, but it's going to be something I'm going to talk about every single time he comes on here and shows hamstrings. It's just not fair to everyone else. Like, if something's wrong, you got to talk about it. So that's what it is. That's my last update before we go and hit the gym. And then I have a couple more videos, maybe tonight. If not, I'll talk to all of you for prejudging. I guarantee you I'll do one more video breaking down the timeline for tomorrow's prejudging finals, so everyone's ready. I'll break it down East Coast, West Coast, Europe, so we're all on the same page. We don't miss it. It's $21 live stream, so it's an absolute steal. Go buy it. That'll also be included. The link will be included in the next video. Stay tuned. I'm your host, Josh Sanch. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.